network shut us off. So I'll meanwhile just wait for you guys to come back and we continue. Yes, thank you for staying. The network took me off, but I'm not. I don't want to claim it's network. I know normally when that happens and I can't go back in a broadcast, it's the YouTube app that is misbehaving. So it can be due to a phone thing. So as we wait for these guys to come also, this is basically what you will need. This is an inverter, and Emma, if you can buy an inverter from where you are, it would be a much better quality. Okay, you buy an inverter like 700 watts or 1000 watts. If you can get 2000 watts, it's even better. So what you do is you buy an inverter from there, and then you get two very strong wires. So as we wait for more of our members to come, so as we wait for more of our members to actually come, this is what you basically need to generate electricity in your car. Now, this is a very simple inverter that I got from downtown Nakasero. I had bought like two types of inverters and they were both not good. So in the end, I went and bought this one. It served me for I think more time. Then I got power. Merry Christmas, Kenneth. Merry Christmas, Nicole. And I believe everyone that is watching, everyone that says Merry Christmas, it's for all of us, not just for me. So of course now when you go, they will tell you German Tech. When you go to Nakasero, they'll tell you German Tech is the best inverter. Now, why am I showing you this? Because you don't need a mechanic to actually help you fix this. Good morning. Good evening, Sam. Merry Christmas. You don't need a mechanic to help you fix this into your car to generate power. Okay. So this is what you need, but you also need a piece of sellotape. This is the black sellotape. This one. Okay. This is what you need, and then a piece of wire. You can make it longer depending on where you want to put the inverter. Now, this inverter takes in the DC from your car's battery and makes it AC, makes it the current that we use in the house. And once you connect this thing and you switch on like this, if you touch here, it will shock you like umeme. Okay, it takes in basic power from your battery and then turns it into yaka umeme. Okay, so this is what you need. Okay, you need this inverter. Of course, it has a negative terminal which is black, and it has a positive terminal which is red. Okay, so you get a strong wire. You get very strong wires. Okay, you can go to the electronics shop and ask them for this wire, the one that is flexible but very strong. Okay, so you connect the red wire to positive and then the black wire to negative. Okay, now after you connect that, this is the other thing you need to know. Let me just show you. This cigarette thing here, okarabakano, this is what we use to charge the phones normally. You put the normal phone charger here. Okay, but as you do all these connections, make sure that you have even put the key out of the car. So okay, you don't need a mechanic, by the way. I've done this. And then you get the terminals that connect here. It also has a positive and negative. Let me just show you. Okay, It has the positive and negative. Bino ebintu saagala bababbe oziraba kati nemmotoka nkadde naye bw'oba nemmotoka nga mpya okusano it will be kati this is because I've already connected this thing before, so that's why it has. So you'll strip these wires a little bit. This is the red terminal, this is positive, and this is negative. Kakati, normally when cars catch fire, it's because this positive terminal and this negative terminal have actually come together. Zino wire bo zigata what, it's like a house. Normally the house has a circuit breaker. A motor container circuit breaker. The circuit breaker would be the fuse of this thing. Okay, so but you'll find that most cars in Uganda, the fuses bazitaddeko obuwaya. Kati webateekako obuwaya nga waya ngumu. Zino wire, when these wires connect, okay, you'll get a short circuit, but the fuse will not break. And if the fuse doesn't break, that's when the cars actually catch fire. But I want you to always make sure that your fuse is original. If in case your car, like for example, something goes off and they want to replace the fuses and they ask you for money, give the mechanic the money to buy a new fuse. Wire. Okay, so when you get that, okay, so we are back. Just need to show you how, because you want this to be a neat connection. This is my gift to you on Christmas, especially the guys that are building their houses in Gatemuina Masanyaraze Kati. If you have a car, this is my gift for you. To be able to charge your laptop, to be able to charge your phone. And normally when I came, I also had the power banks. So what I would do is I would charge power bank. I bought a power bank for my wife. I bought a power bank for me. And we both had very heavy duty power banks, the way you see it. Because I bought this power bank, I think 100,000. It's very strong. It can charge my Samsung 5 times. Okay, more than 5 by the way. Normally I charge my 5 times and I charge the power bank again, but eventually like 70%. So I would charge also the power banks. So the other thing that I normally did is you see these 2 wires that are here, red and black. Okay, so what I did, I actually opened this thing up, which I wouldn't advise you do. I opened it up, I found the terminals, I got another, I got wires out of there and I put sockets. So I had a double socket coming out of this. And in that double socket, I would charge the power bank, and on the other one, I charge the phone or the laptop. And then I would use this one as well to charge something else. So on my drive from town to home, I would actually be charging like 3 things at the same time. I would almost be using like the car. I don't know if that makes sense. So because you want this to be neat, okay, normally I would tell you to open this, but you don't have to open it. So because you want it to be neat, you're going to get this wire, okay, and take it all the way down, and you make it go through here, okay, because the inverter is most definitely going to be like down there. You can lock it here, okay, you can lock it here, you can lock it in all the places, as long as those places are safe and no one is going to be touching there. Your wife will not be coming at amariga kwataka amasanze gamukube wo mwami wo obo omwana wo. Okay, now after you've done that, I'm back, guys. Sorry, can I just buy a small socket extension to fix in there and I can charge? Yes, Emma, you can actually also do that. That's another thing. Yeah, so I'm going to show you how to connect this. Like I've told you guys, you don't need a mechanic for this. You just have to be careful, especially if you're a man. Fabasajja, God has made men when they can actually do these things. Because if a socket breaks down in your home and you're a man and you have to call the electronics guy all the time, we know where it is. So what you do, remember we talked about the positive terminal and negative terminal. Now I showed you these wires, so I'm going to connect red. Okay, I want to get it a little closer. I don't know if it can. So I'm going to connect red. I will show you after I've connected. I'm going to connect red to red. Okay, but don't forget that the reason why we brought this step, this cellotape, is to actually tape it. So you connect the red to red. Okay, but you make sure you connect it only at the cigarette thing. Okay, tokwata as nozitwala go wefuula omugezi ozikole. This is like the easiest thing that the easiest place you can get power, because remember this thing normally charges the phone. It helps you light your cigarette and all. So I've connected the red to red. I'm also going to connect the black to black. Okay, I'm going to connect the black to black. Okay. Yeah, my car has a very small like working area, so actually my other wire is not black, it's white. But normally the red is red. When you're in all electronics, positive is always red, and then they can improvise with the other wires. I've seen in some instances where they did not have red, they just had blue and some other color. Okay, so I've connected my wires. I'm just going to show you before I tape. And then, did I bring a charger? I don't know if I bought a charger, but you guys will see. So, see, I've connected the red to red, to the black to white. Okay, so I'm going to tape it. I'm going to tape it. You probably don't need to see me tape this thing, but I'm going to tape it. So, and once you do this, if your car has good electronics already, you just have to make sure that this thing has been working. Okay, you have to make sure that this thing has actually been working, because you can't be connecting things to a cigarette port that has not been working. Okay, kakati any mechanic that is watching this, but you know, so many people are not even connecting this in their car because they don't know that you can actually generate electricity in your car. But I did this for the better part of last year. And this is how I was charging my phone, because you know, when kids are watching cartoon on the phone, and sometimes they watch music or want A B C D, yeah, and butwala omuliro. So this is how we were charging our power banks and laptops, because of course sometimes you'd go to work na amasanyalaze nga gagenda, and then you cannot charge the laptop during the day. So I would charge. And of course, the other thing that you can charge here is the mosquito thing. You know that mosquito badminton nets thingy. Yeah, kakanto akakubensi ne kazita. Akazikuba amasanyalaze. That's the other thing you can charge here. So you tape, and when you're taping these wires, please make sure tojja kuocha motoka. Try to tape it as properly and neatly as possible. So that togenda funa short circuit. And you know, it's Salmin gwabadangama okoche moroka. This is very important for you to know, because sometimes your car will break down and you probably have to find a wire which is leading to that. So this is why you need to know these things. So I think I'm done taping. I'm just going to show you how we have generated the power. Inverter because it gets in. You pull your wire, pull it, and now. Sorry, someone was calling me. I put him off to fire. So, and when I make people busy now, they understand that they don't have to call me again. I'll call them. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just hooking this wire to a plastic thing. Okay, and voila, I'm done. So once you're done, of course you need to replace this. Remember, there is a connection here. You have, this is the area that you use to charge your phone, okay, or to light your cigarette. So you need to hook this back, okay. And that's exactly what I'm doing. And yeah, then you hook it back, and you put this cover back where it's supposed to be. Now, if it's an automatic car, it has its own other process, but for the manual, I just have to replace the gear knob. For the guys that have just joined, I was showing you how to generate electricity in your car, okay? And but if you're not sure, please don't try this. You can contact me to give you someone that can actually do this for you, someone that I know that will help you. So now that we have connected, of course I showed the people that were here in the beginning, you need this inverter or something better. For the guys that buy or somewhere else, buy a better inverter. If you could actually buy one for me, you can buy a better inverter for me. Bobori, like in a country where the quality of things is good, go buy an inverter. You come back with it to Kampala, okay? But like I'm saying, if you're not sure about doing this yourself, please don't do it, okay? Don't do it. Then you get someone that does wiring to do it for you. And don't be discouraged. For me, I've had this inverter in my car for more than a year, okay? I started using it to charge laptops and all last year. So we have connected, and here is our key. I just want to show you that it works. You hear? Because it's already on. So when you put, now this inverter, when you put it here, it works the way the cigarette thing would work. So the moment you put in the ACC, the one that puts on the radio, and you switch on, it makes that noise. And let me just see if you guys can see the green light. You see that green light? That shows that this thing is actually generating power now. So it takes in power from here and puts in here, but I would not touch here. Gali gankubiyeko gana masanyaze gakuba gano gakubanga ga mu nyumba gakubanga ga mu nyumba. So that's how you generate power in your car, okay? But of course I'm going to make another video where I have shots of all these things. But I've had this thing in my car, and for me personally, where do I keep it? I keep it under the seat here. That's why abantu bengenda nabo kunonye mu lukate bagirabangako inverter yange. So I keep it under there. And that's how you generate power. Emma, ochikutte echo. Ochikutte nga bwe bakikola. So that's how you're going to use the inverter to actually be able to charge your phones, charge your laptops and all that. So now, the other thing that I have to tell you, especially for the guys that are going to the village, there are things that I want to show you that you need to pay attention to. Okay, yesterday, was it yesterday? Of course, starting from the experience of buy car where it was not doing what it's supposed to do, okay, and we worked on several things. I even bought new plugs from Toyota, and Nesigaranga it's doing the same thing until we actually changed the air cleaner. So now I'm going to show you what you need to do. This applies for, let's say, basically it can apply for every day before you go away, before you leave home. This is something you're going to do. Emotoka ezikyali ennamu zikubakadaako ngolesemu ekisunzo n'oggulu. So I've removed the key. So Emma told me to show you guys, I think it was Emma or Council Yunus, to show you guys how check the mileage. Okay, you see, that's the actual mileage of my car, 250,691 kilometers. Okay, and that is how much mileage I've moved since I last filled my tank. Okay, that's trip A. Normally the car has trip A, and then trip B. Me, when I go to the fuel station to refuel, I normally reset both of them. So, and how do you reset? You see that thing that I'm pressing? So when you go to put fuel, if you want to know how many kilometers a liter of your fuel goes, when you go to fuel, after you are fueled, you long press that thing. Wachiraba? Then it goes back to 0. You see this one is at 207, but the other one is at 00. So it will start again counting from 0 in terms of kilometers, okay? So that's how you see how to calculate the mileage your fuel takes you. But this works so much with guys that drive, of course, a lot of fuel. But what coming a full tank, if you're going to be calculating to know exactly how many kilometers a liter of your fuel goes, sometimes ojakuba wetaga to put a full tank. Okay, you may need to put a full tank of fuel in the beginning. Okay, so let's go out and I show you what I think you guys need to know. Of course, we've pulled our bonnet there, and it got open. So, of course, this is our Corolla, the UAM, Namukadde. Someone said, someone called it Namukadanyerira. Good afternoon. So, I'm just adjusting this tripod to make sure that it gives us a good view. So this should ideally be done every day before you leave home, okay? But now when you're going for long trips, like the people that are going to the villages, it's very important. Now there are things that I'm going to show you that I realized a few weeks ago that people don't actually know. So when you open the bonnet, let's start from here. When you open the bonnet, I want you to learn this very first thing here. When you open the bonnet, every car has this thing. Tukaita kati mu Uganda, the stick. Okay? Some cars it's here, for some cars it's here, other cars it's the other side. For cars like Mercedes-Benz, Mark IIs, they don't have this, but most of these small cars have it. You just have to make sure that you find it. It's very easy to find though. It's very, very easy to find, especially if you know what you're looking for. So I think you guys have to learn how to, for example, check the oil levels. I'm going to shift this to my side so that I can see what I'm showing you as well. If you have a question of the things I'm going to show you, don't forget, feel embarrassed to ask. Some of these things I also didn't know when I bought my first, second, and third car. I didn't know. These things I've learned over the years as I drove cars. So normally, all cars actually have this. This is called the dipstick. Okay, this is the dipstick. Now, automatic cars actually have another dipstick here that measures the hydraulic. Okay, this dipstick here measures the oil level. Okay, of course, my car, I started my car already, so this might not show us the level of the oil. The oil is up here because it already went up the engine. But normally this dipstick has letters here. It has E down this way and it has F up this way. And when normal level, when you check, when you get the dipstick out of the engine, when you get it out like this, it is supposed to show at one oil. I know kubanga japaka ko F, but you do this only before you start the engine. That's why I told you because I already started my car to get it out of the fence. It's still, but you do this before you start the car. You can do it in the evening, in the morning, in the afternoon, but make sure that this car has sat for a minimum of like let's say 2 hours, and then because when it sits, when the car stays in the same position, the oil goes down in the engine. Okay, kati, when you take the dipstick out of the car like this and you look at the level, it's supposed to be at F. Now if you have never actually done this, go to your car or go to a friend's car and get the dipstick. You'll see what E ne F. Okay, there are two levels. A normal car, a car that has normal engine oil levels, is supposed to be at F. Era oil bwaba akendedeko kitegeeza emmotoka y'enywa ka oil, and if your car drinks oil, it means you have to continue topping up to avoid getting this engine blown. Okay, so of course sometimes when you take it out and you see the first level, you wipe it off with a cloth, with a piece of cloth, put it back again all the way down and bring it out again, and then look at the levels again. Like I said, my car has already, the engine has not even sat for 1 hour now, so I can't check the levels. But that's how you check the levels. The other thing, and this is something that was disturbing my car, every car has an air cleaner. Every car and every type, Mercedes Benz, Actros, the air cleaner is like the nose for the car. And remember, if you watch the video where we repaired my Corolla, remember the new air cleaner we put in this car? This is how it looks now. It's almost old. And before you go to any journey, especially when you're going to a very long journey, you need to actually get the air cleaner changed. Why do you need to get it changed? Look at this. Do you see the dust? Do you see the dust? And this air cleaner is not even a month old. But because I drive in a dusty area, this air cleaner now is actually, it was white, but if you can see, it's brown. It has brown deposits all over, but it was pure white. So the next time I'm doing service, I'm actually going to change, which is in like 2 weeks. I'm going to change when I look at my mileage. I'm going to go and have this changed. Why? Because I realized this thing is very powerful on a car. Your car can lose power, and they will even make you buy a new engine when the actual problem is this air cleaner. So don't take it for granted, okay? The air cleaner is like your nose. Imagine yourself not breathing. Imagine yourself when you have touched the nose and you don't breathe. You will even try to breathe from the mouth, but it will still not be the same. And when you can't breathe, you will lose energy because your bloodstream will not have oxygen. You get? So that's why you need to change this air cleaner. Okay? So that's how you get it. Most cars, the air cleaner is here. This thing might actually look different, but this is where the air cleaner is. Put it back, and we lock. So the other thing that I saw, one of my followers did not actually know where it is the horn. The horn. Engotoka zizi no one. Zizi no. Ziba bbiri. Zibeera wano. Okitegeera. When we install alarm systems for my people, tuteekako n'engombe zino n'ebeera nga eri loud bulungi ng'omubbi tasobola kugiremerako. Okay? Then the other thing that happened with one of my clients, Arthur, one of my friend bought Spacio new model. It's a UBE. Olowooza yataddemu nga mmeka wamma. I can't lie to you. I can't lie to you. But UBE, if it's cheap, yagiguze late 19s. Okitegeera, but most probably in the 20s. Then ekirala kye mulina okumanya, you remember the friend of ours here when nagulira Ipsa n'agenda makanika n'ayagala okumubba. The socket, this is the fan that cools the water in the radiator, and this is the socket. Okay, kati oli guy kye yakola yajja n'ajjako socket eno. Okay, bwe yajjako socket eyo fan neeba nga tekyakola. The fan stopped working, and then the car was overheating. So he was trying to convince this person that your car is actually bad because your car is overheating. I want to sell you a fan, but he had just removed the socket. And when my mechanic went back to the car, he just fixed the socket back. So if your car starts overheating, this is the first place, of course, you have to check is, does the water have radiator? Does the radiator have water? Does the reserve tank, because this is the reserve tank, and the reserve tank you don't put water up to the full, up to the mouth. wabaawo labeling wano eya full, the water comes up to here tegenda paka waggulu, but the radiator has to be full. But when you're putting water in the radiator, you put mostly coolant. Okay, you put 70% coolant, then 30% water. Okay, so when your car, if your car goes over half and it starts overheating, you come and look at the radiator water levels, and then you look at the socket as well to make sure that the fan actually works. Yeah, most cars should actually be should have automatic fan systems. The other thing you need to look at, forgive my dirty car, is this is the brake fluid, the brake cylinder. Okay, does it have actual brake fluid? Kakati, you need to note that also this doesn't come up to the top. It's up here, there is maximum. Kati wano woteka brake fluid, ochitegeera woteka brake fluid, and you have to make sure that it's not black, because if it's black, then the master cylinder is actually fried. Ochitegeera. Those are some of the things that you have to make sure that they are, you have them. Mpozi ne runo guno musipi guno ogulaba. This is not the timing belt. The timing belt, my car doesn't have a timing belt, it has a timing chain. But emotoka enkadde ziri zabanga ne timing belt ngebeera around here as well. Kati like the Toyota Noah, the Toyota Ipsam zikutula nnyo timing belts. Okay? Nga balina okusumulula wano wonna. But this belt here goes to the AC pump. The AC pump yeri esembayo wansi, it comes to the alternator, and then it also has a pulley that moves the engine. Negenda ne ku self. Ochitegeera. So this is the self starts rotating, and then it also rotates this. This alternator charges the battery. Now this alternator we made a faulty, battery yebatejjula, and sometimes it can actually kill the battery. So normally once in a while, probably every 3 months, I would recommend that you go to a battery point, bapime, to see if your car charges the battery properly. Okay, to see if the alternator charges the battery properly. If it doesn't, then you go to your mechanic and have this alternator actually fixed up. Now, norukobo runaba, before you go to a long trip, make sure to replace this. Whether it's still good or not, make sure to replace it and put another one. Then you keep the one that was there as a spare. Okay? Why? Because this belt, bwoba ogenze kati wamwe Masaka eyo mukyalo eyo berukunjiri oba Gulu, if you go to those villages, you may find that this belt is not there. Like my belt, the one on my car, is actually very long and a little expensive. And the people in the villages don't buy these things for their customers because they're expensive. So you want to actually have these belts, even if there are two. Some cars have two belts here, but mine has one. Replace both the belts and keep the ones that were there as okay. That will definitely help you to make sure that your car does not break down on the road. Okay, of course my car has a Arthur, is the fan supposed to be spinning when you insert the key in the ignition? On, but not yet started. It depends. Some cars, especially cars that have overheated, when motoka ezimu nga za overheating ako, the fan bagiteeka ku kye bayita direct, naye nga tekyali ku automatic. Like my fan is on automatic, it goes on and off by itself depending on the temperature. But some cars, especially like the old cars, most of the Ipsams on the road, the fans are on direct, so they go on whenever you put in the key, put the switch, it goes on. Automatic, it goes on manually. It's not a vehicle. But for newer cars, the car a sensor. Let me see if I can spot it. A sensor akajikiriza okolaki okwejjako n'okweteekako okitegeera. Yeah, so for those that didn't know, this is the self starter. Ogirabye self, it's a small thing there naye maama ako kasobola okulemeza ku kkubo nga kaafudde. For the guys that have been telling about SC, now a car has two radiators. Okay, it has this main radiator naye ina ne radiator SC eri wano, olumu oyinza obutagiraba. So bwe tugenda okukebera emmoloka tugikebera tulabe what condition it is in. Etambuza enseke eziyita wano bwe wati nezigenda so then nezijja paka wano oziraba neziyita awo nezigenda. And remember, someone was asking me how my ABS thingy doesn't go off. This is the ABS control unit. Normally when it dies in Uganda, because it's expensive, they remove the ABS control n'agiraawa n'agiteeka ku buno obuntu obulaba buno. That's what my mechanic did, and now I don't have to buy an ABS control unit at half a million shillings. Okitegeera. So that's it for there. Kakati guys, what are your plans for Christmas? I have to lock this thing tutandika okutambula. What are your plans for Christmas? What are your plans for Christmas? For me, of course, as a family person, I have to adhere to whatever they want. They decide. Nze sisalawo. Emma gwa salawo ekigenda maaso of Christmas ewuwo. Me, I don't decide. Kati, today we have learned what? We have actually learned how to generate electricity, how to make yaka in the car, okay? And then we have seen all those things that you have to check, but also you have to make sure that you don't have obutala obusigarako. Make sure that you don't have lights, like warning lights that stay on in your car. Samsung now I have to do AC. Akafani sinakafuna kebangamba banana. Anyway, and of course I have a tripod. That's how I've managed to actually have that broadcast. One man crew, one man cast. Yeah, that's happened today. So before you go to the village, for the guys that are going to the village, if you have not already set off, if you have already set off and you did not check the things that I've told you to check, please check them now. Stop at a fueling station and check those things. And then your car breaks down, and I'm sure you also don't want that to happen. Check the coolant, okay? Check the oil, check the gearbox oil, okay? Check the brake fluid to make sure that even the cylinder doesn't leak. Check to make sure that the ABS control unit na yote tonya. It's very important that toyonona in the villages ebiseera ebisinga abantu abamu bagenda ne moroka ne bakomawo na taxi. Why? Because yagenda ne moroka gy'atakebedde ate neemufaako ne yeesanga ng'ate alina okugirekayo oba si ekyo, and the mechanic is not here on Christmas. Okitegeera. So let's see. Yeah, so let's go. I'm headed to the gym today. Remember last weekend I had malaria. So because of the malaria, I could not go to the gym. Yeah, I was too powerless to go to the gym. Then when you start you need to give it like 30 seconds, 40 seconds for the oil to actually go up. That's what normally for me in the morning when we are going to leave home, I start the car and I even give it like 2 minutes. I start it and even go back to the house to make sure these people come out quickly. I go back to the house. Guys, it's the real birth of Christ, but calculations that have been done and estimations by professionals in the religious realm, that's when Jesus was assumably born, around that time, and they decided to do it on the 25th of December. So tomorrow, some of the things that you can probably family, you can surprise your family for the guys that are abroad, and if you're in Uganda, these are some of the things that you can program for your family that people normally don't do. Most people bagenda kavumba ntwale ekiwatule and all those things, but you can actually take them for a movie. You can take them for a movie. I've not done that before. I find that to be hazardous. Being a person that drives a car, I realize that someone could be driving and I don't want to be in the way of a speeding car. Those guys are going over 150 kilometers an hour. I don't want to be in the way of a car that is going 100 kilometers. And in an area where you signed that you're actually going to be in an area where you signed up that you're going to be watching race cars. So in case a car at a racetrack knocks you, no one is liable. okitegeera tolina goyinza kuvunaana family yo tesobola kuvunaana muntu nti waayi emmoroka yo yatomedde omuntu yagenze yakimanyi nti mmoroka za mpaka lwaki yayimiridde mu maaso g'emmoroka. You get what I'm saying? So go for those racing things because is this thing a little stable this time, guys? I realized last time nali sikasibye wano ku joints but I tried to lock it ate nagenda okunoonya the one that I had and it's not in Arthur. Okay, when driving are you supposed to move with your original permit or copy? Move with a copy. Move with a copy, guys. Leave the original at home because if the original gets lost, now replacing it is very expensive. Move the copy. Actually, if you could, you can even have a copy on your phone. But watch, man, you're going to have battery on it. They just show him because all they need is to look at the picture, look at you, and also the permit number. Sometimes all they need is the permit number because they punch in the permit number in their machines. The picture comes, and then he just has to look at you that you're that person. But move with a copy. And whenever you're going up country, I advise that you also have a copy of the logbook of the car that you have. Okay, that's why normally I tell people togula moroka ya banja bobo sobola jimaleyo bakuwe logbook, so that because you may find that you go nogwa mukido cha IOV and they say later copy ya logbook. You guys have seen movies where they say license and registration, please. License is the driving permit, registration is the logbook. Twitter logbook. So I assume that you guys have a copy of the logbook. Beera nayo giteeke wano waggulu in the sun cover ogitereke, so that if in case of anything then you have both your permit and the logbook. Yeah, then you guys have to understand that the road is full of traffic officers. Okay, and you also have to know, don't drive if your permit is expired. Don't drive if you don't have a permit. These days they lock you up. They lock you up. Tebacha, they don't negotiate anymore. Enguzi bali anene nnyo because abeera akimanyi nti when bwebakwata kati you come out after Boxing Day. So don't think byebiri ebyaluli byetwabeera nga si byebiri ebyaluli byetwabeera nga you can drive without a permit nosanga traffic n'omuwaayo akasanvu. These guys are serious. So drive with a permit. If you don't have a permit, get a friend of yours to drive or get a family member to drive nga ina permit. It's very important for you obutasula mukomera, and I'm sure you don't want to do that. You need to understand that when they arrest you for no permit, they can take you to court and the judge can decide to both fine you and also arrest you again. They can actually lock you up to 5 years. So you don't want to risk that, and they are very serious at that. Kati lwaki ogenda ogabe enguzi emitwalo 10 okusinga okwata emitwalo 3 ogiwe mukwano gwako. You get. I continuously tell you some guys that nothing is free in life. So even if your friend volunteers to drive you to the village and you're going to give him food for Christmas, pay him for driving you. Pay him to drive you instead of driving a car without a permit. Okay, but also make sure before you go to the village that you have tires. What if I have the permit in my gallery? Can they see the photo? Yes, they can. Martha, what does magidemo kobambi? I understand. If you are in Kampala, you would not be sleeping. Definitely, you would not be. Thank you for being here, Martha. While you are away to use how to generate electricity in the car, netulaba bitu inokebera. Nebabuza n'ekibuzo kiri very important for you. The future IPSAM owner, is the fan supposed to be on all the time? And most IPSAMs, their fans are on all the time. Not that they overheat, but most of those IPSAMs, when the automatic fan sensor dies, most of those IPSAM drivers tebabuzaako nga babagamba giteeke ku direct. That's what happens. So era bw'ogigulanga eri ku direct ogirekangako. The good thing is with IPSAMs is that IPSAM has a fan, an independent fan for AC, and it has another fan for the general. So if you buy an IPSAM and it has one fan, you might need to buy another fan for AC, because when you switch on the AC, then the AC fan also does its job to make sure that you're cool inside. make sure that you have good tires on your car. Okay, make sure you have good tires on your car. Why? You pose a lot of risk if you drive a car that doesn't have good tires. Go when your life is at risk. Someone told me to stop using a lot of Uganda. The tire can actually burst. That's not the way they say it in proper English, but we are Ugandans. The tire can burst. The tire can burst, and also you can get arrested. Okay, but also when you drive a car that doesn't have good tread on the tires, in the villages there are nails. Those people throw nails in anyway, anyhow, because they rarely get cars to come there, so they never even know that the nails are there. So ompiro omukadde omusumali buguyingiramu gutulirawo, yet a new tire, you can have a nail in it for like for 2 months and you won't even know. Tire can get a puncture. No, but the puncture is different, Emma. The puncture kuba kujjako kituli kuli kuba kwabika poo, and then you'll die. That's what happens with taxis. You know, taxi guys, they say them base was ovuga emotoka ya business, so you take a emipire emikadde. So that's normally what happens. But also the other thing that can make tires burst is if they remember, Emma, what was happening to your Nua when you were driving, and when the brakes was jamming. When the brakes jam, the the brake drum starts generating heat, and when it generates heat, the heat goes from the brake drums, it goes to the tire rim, and then it goes to the tire. Now when it goes to the tire can definitely burst. It doesn't sound right, but it can burst. You guys understand? Just translate it to your local language and you will know what I'm talking about. So you want to go to a mechanic that can actually time the brakes properly, the back brakes especially, the rear brakes. You go to a mechanic that can properly time the rear brakes so that they don't jam. I'm going to the gym, but I've not carried money. That's where mobile money comes in handy, because if you don't have cash, you can withdraw from mobile money. And you know the gyms in Uganda, gyms are 2K. Nze sigenda mu gym esuka 2K because izo gym tezikola na bunyama. Bobo, if you're in Uganda, the tires can do pa. If you're in Uganda ngo yagala okuzimba obunyama obulungi, you go to a gym that is 2K. Don't go to a gym that is 10K, 20K. Abantu abagenda mu gym eza 20K, they don't even know how to work out. They don't even know how to lift weights. Fabagenda mu gym zine ziri affordable. Fe tumanye ekyo kukola. Yeah, so I think yesterday but one we went inspecting cars for one of our friends here, Michael, and he chose a Primo. Yeah, he actually saw this Primo himself, and we went and saw it. And yeah, I had to deliver the Succeed to the lady. Yesterday it came out. It came out of the bond the other day, but then yesterday everything was done. The labeling, so we delivered it yesterday, and I came out late, and I found that Michael had bought the Primo, and without doing some checks. Yeah, there are checks that we do before we buy, and we do them exactly when we are going to pay. We surprise that guy. Anyway, he did not do the checks, and I don't blame him. Probably he of course he liked the car. I think he got excited and decided to pay immediately. I had told him to wait for me na ataninda, and I totally got cross nanyize nnyo because yapa PM ko ate ne tutakola checks tulina kukola, and I got cross with him, and I apologized later. Sinda kwefula ategerera nnyo omuntu biseera ebimu omuntu ajja kgenda asasula emmotoka because I like it, and I thought that I should share what you guys should take note of, because I realize this might happen more often than I think, that we actually find a car and you like it and you decide that I'm going to go and buy it in the morning without after. So when you go to buy a car, if for example inspection has been done and you decide that okay, this is the car I want to buy, and probably the person that checks for you is not there, these are the things that you need to do. You need to have someone in URA, of course. You call them and you send them the number plate of the car. Of course, this won't be free, guys. I always tell you, nothing is free. Okay, you call this person I'd send them the number plate of the car and ask them, okay, if that car has a caveat. That's the first thing you should ask, because if a car has a caveat, it will never be transferred to your names until you find out why the caveat. If it's a loan, and then you have to pay the loan before, and normally that's a long process. Then after they tell you the car doesn't have a caveat, then you're going to ask them for the number and names of the person in whose names the car is. When they send you the number, you need to call this person. If you call that person and the phone is not going through, don't buy the car. Okay? It probably means, okay, don't buy that car at that moment until you call the number and it goes through. And this happens. Now, when you call the number and it goes through, tell them, introduce yourself and tell them that you're buying a car. Describe the car to them, number plate, color, type, and all. Okay? And you tell them someone is trying to sell it to me. Tell them the name of the person who is trying to sell you the car, and ask them whether the car has any outstanding balance with them. Okay? And also ask them if they will be able to transfer the car to your names if you come to them for transfer. Okay? Now, if this person tells you for any reason that he will not be willing or able to transfer the car to you, don't buy the car. Okay? Don't buy the car if this person says they will not be willing to transfer for you. Now, sometimes they will tell you, I will transfer for you, but you have to bring the person that I sold the car to. And that's one of the impossibilities. Okay? Sometimes it's impossible for you to find the person that person sold the car to. When did I open this door? Sometimes it's nearly impossible for you to find the person that this person sold the car to. So you tell them, then he or she might ask you for the agreement where he signed his name selling the car. That also might not be possible. So you tell him, I cannot access those people. If I can't access those people, will you be able to transfer for me? You get? And if that person says no, don't buy the car, because that person is going to make it difficult for you to transfer the car to your names. Okay, then don't buy that car. However good the car is, more okay, we're about to transfer to your names, don't buy it. Now that's one of the important checks that my friend did not make, and I was really angry, because this person that was selling to him should have made sure they check that. Okay? But because the people normally the car and they are selling for someone else, tajja ku send Christmas, because on mutyaba dano ya send Christmas definitely. And yeah, he has funyina agenda. So when I call my friend ngamba ata oluddewo ogenza okunkubira omusajja maze nomuwa sente agenze. And for me, I felt that was a rash decision, because you're definitely just going to drive a car and park it somewhere. So why would you hurry? A person, this is the other thing I want to tell you guys, omuntu alina sente yasinga amaanyi mu bulamu muno. Bwe ne bobeera ne acres ez'ettaka bisatu, okay? The person that has 100 million is better than you with 300 acres. Because a person with 100 million will come and buy you 300 acres at 50 if you get an emergency. You get what I'm saying? A person with money will always be powerful. That's why you should never rush to make a purchase. Okay? It doesn't matter how much you need. I've told you guys before. If, for example, I needed to go to the village, and all the time, Emma, all the time, money is power. You can buy food, you can buy medicine, you get. I think the only time they tell you that money is not everything is when you are failed to get people to love you. Okay? But normally, people fail to get people to love them because they have bad manners, not because they have money. If you have bad manners, whether poor or rich, it will be hard for you to get someone to love you. That's a fact. And it's important for us to know. But when you have money, everything is smooth. Okay, let's pray for him. No, I'm hoping for the best. I wished him all the best. And he told me he knows someone in URA that he sent the number to, and he's going to get back to him. I'm imagining they got back to him already, and it's good news. Okay, but guys, don't buy a car that doesn't check out with the logbook. Don't buy a car that doesn't check out with the logbook. Don't buy a car that doesn't check out with the logbook. Don't buy a car if you have not talked to the person in whose names the car is. Or that the car is in a green logbook. Because if a car is in the green logbook, then just buy and take your green logbook, and then you start hustling with transferring it, because I have already told you guys that the transfer for the green logbook is expensive, between 500 to 700k. Okay, it's expensive. But the white logbook, sometimes there is an instance that we found where someone was selling their car, and when they imported it themselves, so it was very good, and someone wanted to buy it, but they could not transfer it because at the time when they bought this car, they did not have a TIN number. So someone else bought it for him in their names. So, and this person went to the US, and this person forgot the password of his TIN number, and he was in the US, so he could not go to URA to get the password. He actually even forgot the email address in which you get what I'm saying. So the process was really long. It took like a month to actually transfer the car. So always make sure that the logbook transfer process actually checks out. So that's a very important check. And sometimes if the logbook thingy doesn't check out, or someone kusanga ngemoroka nzibe, emoroka nga bagiba, and normally it doesn't matter. Omuntu bwabbe emoroka, and they sell it to you, even if you give them 2 million, for them it's okay. They just go. You have no way of finding them. I'll tell you a story. There is a time we were going to buy a car. We went and inspected it with my mechanic, and the car checked out. I was buying it for resale, and the car checked out. Everything checked out basically. And on the day we were supposed to pay for this car, we went with money. I had the money in my socks. We go to the car, and we told them we are going to write. And I asked them to see the logbook, and they said the logbook is not here. The logbook is in Busia. At that moment, I said I'm not buying this car. I'm not buying this car. Now I'll tell you, this guy checked out. He even told me one way he had a flat, he removed fence in Namugongo there. Everything checked out with this guy, but I did not buy the car, because you can't tell me you bought a car and you left the logbook. So I did not buy this car. And I'll tell you that 2 months later, this guy was on Bukede TV, having sold the very house where I found him more than 3 times. This very person. So from that time, I said I'm not going to trust anyone ever. When I'm buying, it has to check out in everything before I hand over my money. So you guys always be careful. I realize that what happened yesterday might happen more often. You may choose to buy a car because Arthur is delaying you. But in case you choose to do that, don't buy a car that has a logbook that doesn't check out. The other thing, whenever you buy a car, especially if you're going to buy a car on credit, and that car has an outstanding ticket, either multiplex or police, and you tell this person this ticket and he refuses. If you are planning to buy a car on credit, don't buy that car. Chances are high that this person might make life difficult for you, and you don't want to go through that. You don't want to buy a car that will turn out to be stressful. That's why I keep saying these things, but people still don't pay attention. And most of the time, if you can avoid buying a car on credit, don't buy a car on credit. On credit, it didn't end well. You get it? Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, let me see this comment. Arthur, you around your estate 7 million. Can you find man 1 but not a wetland, please? And what estate company owns your estate? The estate company is called Zion. I would advise Martha is I may not be able to give a lot of time. I can help you when you come to probably inspect. Okay, you go to the Zion website. They have a website, I think zion.co.ug. Okay, call that number or WhatsApp them. They have WhatsApp. That's what I did, and they will assign you an estate guy. You can probably ask for the guy that brought me to my plot. He's called Julius. Okay, he's the estate guy from that company that brought me to my plot. Kati, when you ask for him, when they give you the number, you WhatsApp him and you tell him what you want, and he will probably show you. If he doesn't help you, then that means we have to look for people that are selling quickly. That will be our next option, and I'm thinking we'll get them in January, because there are people that bought these plots when they were still 2 million, 3 million back in 2012. Yeah, there are still people there that if you sell a plot at 7 million, you'll be making a lot of profit. So worry, but first contact Zion Estate itself. Tell them you want an estate in they call it Star City in Bubu. Okay, and you tell them the budget, and you tell them to assign you an estate person. His name is Julius. He's very good, and you tell him Arthur told me to contact you. I don't want to give you the number, because I may give you the number and then when things go wrong, it comes back to me. Okay, so I want you to call and ask them for their estate guy called Julius. Of course, but then no problem. Still, plots. I'll help you do due diligence to watch to know that the plot is actually, the plot checks out. So don't worry about that. But I would advise that you first go through the company, whatever, if they have available plots. But if they don't have available plots, then that's when I can come in. But the plots are there. Some other comment here. Commenting as Arthur, sometimes girls endure a man with bad manners with money. Yeah, sometimes girls endure, but exactly. But still, the girl will not love you. That's why you find that most rich people run out of their homes. Then you have nothing to do with her. Arthur, I understood one thing in life. I understood it late myself after buying 3.5 acres of land with a ready land title, and I wanted to save money but not consulting LC1 chairman. I made law. See, now I know one thing I do whenever it's necessary. It's called consultation. Exactly. So you need to always consult. You know, you can buy a phone and it was stolen, and that phone can make you poor, broke, poor. A friend of mine bought a used phone, and he was at his shop. The military came, they took him, they locked him up. They told him the day that phone was stolen, I think 4 million was stolen. Then they told him a laptop was stolen. They had a bunch of things that they added on top of it, and he had to sell his stuff. He paid about 7 million because he wanted to save 200,000 by buying a used phone. You get it? So sometimes, if you buy a strange car, like the thing that normally happens, you go to buy a car and you don't have Arthur or someone that understands this thing. First of all, you will not see the copy of the logbook to check if the chassis number checks out. You will not check to see if the engine number checks out. Sometimes omuntu ajja kubba emmotoka agibatize number plate. They will put a UAH when the car is actually was actually a UAF. You get, and they sell the UAH. They have papers for a UAH. They can go and buy papers from Chiseka, from Wise. Everything almost checks out, but the only thing that will not check out will be the chassis and the engine, because these things are different from the logbook that he actually has. So that's why it's important for you to always do these checks in Gatona Sasura Moroka. Always be patient, guys. If there is one thing that I've learned in life, it's to be patient. No tapapa, especially with things that may go out of hand. But if you're purchasing land, you're purchasing a car, you're purchasing a phone, okay? So it's important for you to understand? Then lastly, for the guys that are going for Christmas in the village, Temu Papa, okay, Temu Papa, drive slow. You guys have seen the accident that happened with the Global. I tell you an experience with Global. People keep castigating Global guys that they drive badly, but trust me, Global guys don't drive badly. I had an experience myself. I was driving to Mbarara when I had just bought my Vitz. That's 2008. My firstborn was not yet even born. But the next, I think, the month after I almost died, I was driving to Mbarara and I dozed. I was driving at night. I dozed. Okay. Now, when I dozed, I went to the side, to the other lane of the cars that are coming from Mbarara, and the Global bus was coming. I don't know how I woke up, guys, but all I know is that I woke up. You know, the Global bus is long, big, tall. Gadia Global yaita kusaidi mira ya motoka. Guys, Gadia Global bus yaita kusaidi mira ya motoka. Gadia Global bus yaita kusaidi mira ya motoka. I was dozing. It was not the fault of the Global bus, but as I swerved to go left, the Global bus guy was also swerving to go left. From that day, sivuga motoka chiro. That's why you guys figure that I tell you, take a program at later than 3 p.m. But I don't start new programs at later than 3 p.m. because I always want to drive fast into Kewakango. From that incident, I almost died. So one thing you guys need to know is that if abantu above Gemoroke, we drive very badly. We drive very badly, yet Emoroka is fragile okusinga Global bus. You'll find that the Global bus driver was unharmed, that no passenger in the Global bus was harmed. But the wish person in that accident, if you have not seen it, guys, I think the video is making rounds on social media. The person in the wish, you have to steering, what you have a demokazi. Guys, when you're driving to the villages, I've realized that if you find that that person almost drives badly, he's trying rushing to make sure that he doesn't make an accident. So you guys be very careful as you're driving. Even those guys that drive Sino trucks, stay out of their way. And then you realize that the Global bus had an accident because of another small car. There's an accident that was caused by a Primo. The Primo was overtaking. Now they did the accident. Of course, but the other car, you guys be very careful as you're driving, you and your families, to the village, okay, for Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. Be very, very, very careful. Accidents. And you need to make sure that your cars check out. Health wise, make sure you have good tires, make sure the engine is in good condition, you have good oil, hydraulics, brakes, make sure the brakes work. Thank you very much, guys, for the Christmas greetings. Yeah, for the guys that are abroad, I've told you, families are film on cinema, on big screens. The movies at home are okay, but let them experience the big screen, especially if they have never done it. We have a lot of cinemas in Kampala, but the biggest one I think is at in Naria, the Metroplex one. That's a very big, it's the biggest I think in the country. Let them go and experience cinema. Let them at least because you guys are for you guys, I'm sure you go and experience that. Let them experience it. And I think Christmas and basically the festive season is a time for us to do things we rarely do. You started a kora to womenweko bulamu. It is short, and when you die, people will forget you in like 6 months. But people forget even their parents. So even you the one thing that the people that will remember you daddy yatutwalanga netugenda tulaba ku film ku cinema enene, daddy yatutwalanga ku beach, okitegeera, because the food Hey Arthur, could I kindly have your WhatsApp number? If you don't mind. No problem, I don't mind. Emma agenda kuwa ku number naye nange kangisome. It's 0752 991 051. Okay? So guys, thank you very much for the Christmas greetings. I also wish you a merry Christmas. And if you don't get to see me again because you may go to the villages where there is no internet and your car, but if you have a car, before you go to the village, I've showed you how to generate power in your car. Buy that inverter, and if you can't install it yourself, get someone that does car electronics. If you can buy 1000 watts, it's even better. If you can buy a 1000 watts, 700 watts is good for phones. You can charge your cars. Of course, a model empia 2015 and above is sockets where you can charge your phone. But if you're driving old cars like mine, you will need to actually install an inverter. So if you're going to the village, to avoid missing the live broadcast that I will do over the holidays, I recommend you install an inverter in your car so that you enjoy. Don't forget, check the oil levels. Buy a new air cleaner, okay? If you check the plugs as well. Make sure you have coolant, okay? I don't have your social media handle. How can I text it to you? Emma, you just share it here as a comment if you can. Just share it as a comment here. Yeah. So but also, Daniel, if you go to the description of this video and in the about section of the channel, the number that is there, the phone number that is there, is my WhatsApp number as well. I have only one number. Yeah. And then you can use that to connect me. For the guys that want to buy cars after Christmas and after 2022, I do pre-purchase inspection. Mu 2023 ngenda kuba nkolera mitwala ana ne makanika yangambe banange aka akasente kumpa katono nyongera abantu gatubafunire moroke nungi. Emma says he texted it above. Daniel, please check. But naye Emma ngasijiraba. Even me, I can't see it. Yeah, but so it will just be an extra 50,000. I'm sure it's worth you getting a good car. But still in this year, Anchari was at Mwetano, the mechanical one, we make sure that you get a car that where everything actually checks out. Avoid buying Toyota Rawums, the old models, or Kujakonga you really want it. Okay. Avoid buying of course the Toyota Rawum and the Corsa have the same engine, but the difference between the Toyota Rawum and the Corsa is that the Rawum normally abantu baji overloading ate nga kayingi ni katono. That's why they kill it. Kambarage kukubo nga ngenda ku gym nedda nyabo. They're asking me if I want to buy things. Tebamanyi nti fate ku Christmas tetubeera waka tukyala. Era yagala okunchaza ne family yange ngamba kati sinywa beer nywa wine. Yeah, so guys, we are heading into the Christmas season and I'm sure you guys are going to have a blast. Boba toli mulamu bulungi nga you're sick, I'm really sorry about it. Bobo inayo mulwadde, sorry about that. But you know, God always is in control. God will be in control again. But try as much as possible to have fun. This day happens once in a day. For the Muslims, get a Christian friend to invite you. For the Seventh-day Adventists who don't celebrate Christmas at all, you guys are going to miss. Of course, there are Orthodox that celebrated their Christmas already, I think. But it doesn't kill family out because Christmas is recognized globally. It's recognized globally. So just enjoy yourself. I've told you guys, the men, take your kids and families to go watch movies. Take them to the cinema so that they watch movie on the big screen. Okay. And for the guys that they have the kamane, also this Christmas to gift your family with a big screen, but with a 72-inch the home theater system, so that when they watch the movie, they watch like they're in the theater. That was it for today, guys. Thank you very much for always taking the time to be part of my broadcasts. It means a lot to me. Abantu bangi bakola broadcast ne batafuna ya do omuntu omu, but I always have you guys. Congrats Michael, congrats Madame Joyce, congrats Solomon, congrats. Now I'm congratulating everyone that I've helped buy a car this year. Congrats, Brian. Congrats, Paul. Congrats. Why am I forgetting this brother's name? You know we got his car very fast. Let's all get a nyori nyari. You remember the banking agent place I shared in Uganda traffic bali buli wamu. So but don't forget, you're supposed to have the seatbelt on at all times. You're supposed to have the seatbelt on. Even when you're getting out of the parking, you're supposed to have it on. So congrats. I forget, there are people that have forgotten their names, but congrats to everyone that I helped buy a car. I hope you have a very good Christmas holiday. Your car doesn't break down, and I wish that we all grow to sukogulako zino Land Cruiser tweyagale nga gyetugenderamu mu kyalo. I think era tugivuga nga daily drive. Okitegeera mwena byemikisa gye mbasabira in 2023. I'll come back with a broadcast on 27th. Yeah, I'm not going to be doing a broadcast tomorrow and then the 26th, but I'll do a broadcast on the 27th. I'll schedule it tomorrow so that we know what we'll be talking about. And for the guys that will be there, I'll see you then. If you won't be there on the 27th, I'll see you when I see you. Okay? Naye munyumiro Christmas, temuvuga chimama, touring your border if you can avoid it. If you have like a 200k, 300k, pangise motoka. Tosobola kulwa kupangisa ko motoka ya mitwalo 10 this season. Bobo ovuga, if you have a permit, hire a car that is in good condition. Atosobola okunyumirwa. My name will be in the list of the most of next year. Amina Emma. Ate kwe nkusabira tugende mu kabodi because sente za bondi ozirina. Thank you very much, Martha. Thank you for wishing us a very Merry Christmas. Naffe tugikwagaliza Christmas enungi. If you have numbers of people from this platform, bambi share, text them Merry Christmas. JK, whenever you watch this broadcast, Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. JK is in Uganda and is very busy, that's why he can't be. But of course, Martha, we shall celebrate Christmas next year in March together. Amina. Kati Martha, kasero tanikokola demands zonga tonda kola chi. But for the guys that are going up country, bobo sobola only fuel with V power. Toteka mu mafuta gana bobo. You know, I don't know if you have a fuel station in Uganda. There is a fuel station called Emma Oils. Neyo Emma Oils tumunya ako mafuta bachariba nga mafuta gutegatira kuba marungi. They would have to convince me for me to recommend. I'm after again recommending a Shell, Total, okay? Bana isimanyo ba Emma Oils echali yo. This is not defamation, guys. Emma Oils mugende munywe ya mafuta. Yeah. So muwomerwe bachari bange atagenda ngako mu gym this year. I'm thinking this is the time to go to the gym. Nayenga siwulira music. You know, gym yakoze lero kweli. Yakoze nayenga teri music. Sanyaze gataliko. Yeah, so for the guys abasigarako, I'm going to actually end this broadcast ngandi mu gym. Tandiko kwata atakolanga ku gym. Ngana koma dokuba na account ya DFC, but DFC is sending me a Christmas message. That's how you get customers, eh? Yeah, Solomon. Yeah, Emma, this is where you start negotiating to make sure she's in Uganda. You start negotiating now. Kale guy, onako lwalero kangene balage ku workout. Kajimu kafake bili bananga. Waliwo abantu balowooza nti jimu yebbiri era mbi. Jimu zaffe za raisi nazo zitera okuba ennungi. Okitegeera, especially bw'oba omanyi how to choose a gym. And you need to understand that it's not. You also see Emma Oil somewhere. Now olaba ndabe mbadde manyi watukoleyo ka petrol station Emma investor. Okay, so tugende bagayi mulabe gym yebbiri. Sagala mulowooze ati gym yebbiri ebeera terabikako. Gym ezo nazo ziba nnungi. Ate balekerawo okubabba nga babatwala mu gym ez'ebbeeyi. Naye Remember, Sazen a cent. Yeah, but let me buy water. So guys, Merry Christmas. Abavaako. So sagala mugende muveeko ku broadcast eno nga sibagambye Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. And in case I don't see you again, a happy New Year. Kati for your information, eno gym gyengendamu gym z'omukyalo naye eri mwakeeri gyoli taliyo ono sooka ompe ku mazzi mpaaga nyoboga. Okay, let me put this in the tripod, guys. On Hoima Road. Yeah, I take the M on Hoima Road. I'm sorry, Baba was saying yeah. So I've put on our tripod. You guys to experience the workout experience in the gym. Yeah, 2K. But remember, aha, akano kajimu kafaako omukyalo ematuga. Aha, yeno jimu yaffe mugiraba tebababba. Ono omusajja weeyogereko. Kukuddeko mutomanyi byakwogera. Ono omusajja instructor wa gym University of Bay. Kizimbe kya Mukiibi. So this is the gym. Actually, we have almost all the toys that you would want to work with. Ne benches hizo tulina bbiri. Togende wantu ne bakubba. Even n'endabirwamu okubamu nga weeraba. So ndoza mukitegedde bagayi. Kati nze ngenda kukolamu mpoomerwemu ate era nkole akanyama omusujja bye gwatwala mbikomyewo. So you guys have a very Merry Christmas and a happy New Year. In case I don't see you again, later on the 27th I'm going to be doing a broadcast. Ngenda kukola broadcast ya 27 ejja kuba mwire ebirungi bingi. I hope you guys have learned. Bwogenda mu kyalo genda ogule inverter ogiteekemu so that esimyo teggwako muli ati notandika okunoonya bwe bakuchargingira. Then nebobo in a laptop, power banks. If you can't buy an inverter, at least buy a power bank. A power bank like this, a charging esimu emirundi nga 10 atenda gwako. So you charge your phone, then nogitwala wali mu kaseta ne bagicharging a power bank. Okitegeera. So I have to go, guys, but thank you very much for being here. Let me see. Emma, and I'm sorry for the broadcast because I've done so far 2 broadcasts. Waliwo gye nakoze yasoose neevaako wabaddeyo Emma, Martha, Salmin, I think, and Kenneth. And then because yavuddeko, then I had to do this other broadcast. Yes! Ojja kutya Martha. Emmotoka njirookinze kanjiddemu. Mbadde nkoze silence. Kati ngikoze. Emmotoka njirookinze. Martha weebale bami kunzijukiza. So, Emma yanzijukiza. Emma, thank you very much for reminding me. They don't share their numbers. Sebo abantu bawe number y'essimu gym. 070 99 74 59 isembyayo nya. Aha. Yeah, you guys have gotten the number. Nendo za mukite sagala mugende bababbe. Gym zibaawo. But let me just go through the names of the people that have been there. Yeah, not that Gani. Abagambe instructor abeera wo yagala okukola. So Emma was number 1 on this broadcast. Nicole, Kenneth, Sam, Salmin, Mark, Simon, Martha ne Emma ne bakolayo ka chemistry kaabwe. Moses, yeah, Moses, like I said, You go to the Zion website, or you go to the Zion website, get their number, WhatsApp them or call them, then ask them for an agent. The agents were an operator, then probably I can help you starting there doing due diligence. Eh? I wish you a Merry Christmas, guys. Ciao, guys. Ciao, ciao, ciao.